Welcome to the Spiritual Principles Made Practical podcast. Today, another step in claiming my power to create the world I want. And we all have that power, but the key is to acknowledge it, relate to it, accept it, and to be able to consciously use and direct it. So one of the things that I at least and I get it, right? Okay, if people disagree with me, you know what? I don't blame them. If you'd have told me this years ago, I might have thought it was all crazy hogwash also. But now I don't. So there you go. And that is that, I do create the world with my mind. And there's no doubt in my mind that we are all one. I understand other people may not agree with that, but in my mind, we are all one. We all rise together and we all fall together. And and that we create the entire world and universe with our mind, right? That's how powerful we are. And so it's a matter of, do I have conscious control of my mind? Because my mind includes both my conscious and my subconscious thoughts, right? So the mind, you could, if you wanted to, you could divide it into two parts, the conscious mind and the unconscious mind, or the even to some extent the part of the mind that is in alignment with what's true, and the part of the mind that believes and acts on what's false. So you can divide it that way. But anyway, you slice it. We create the world with our mind, as far as I'm concerned. And I want to create a world where win-win thinking is the dominant thinking, not the exclusive thinking, but the dominant thinking. And it's like, okay, so I'm saying, and obviously, or to me at least, this is like an uplifting, exciting, energizing, motivating goal, right? It's something that I'm going to do. And to take a step back, that the value of any goal is the growth that is required to achieve that goal. And the growth that's required to achieve this goal of having win-win thinking be the dominant thinking in the world is me to increasingly accept and relate to the fact that I'm one with all things. See myself and other people, understand that they're a part of me, I'm part of them, we're all part of this one whole that I am, that you are, right? And so I look to see, to where am I making progress in this? Where am I making the thought that I have consciously that I believe to be true, the thought that is creating my outer world, right? So I say, well, they're all one, so war doesn't make sense. But yet, in the world that I create for myself, when I look at around the world, I see, well, there's war with people trying to kill each other. And that's not that's not what would happen if win-win thinking were the dominant thinking in the world, right? Because if win-win thinking is part of the concept that we're all one, and if we're all one, what we do to anybody, we do to ourselves because there isn't anybody other than ourselves. And so it doesn't make sense that we would go to war against ourselves trying to kill ourselves, right? So, I mean, nobody, I don't think, would consciously do that. Although who knows? But I sure hope not. I think some psychologists have said that it's impossible for people to do things that they're consciously aware is going to be harmful to themselves. They might, they might kill themselves, but they're doing it because they think that they can escape the suffering that they're experiencing as a result, not because they want to make things worse for themselves. Although killing yourself does make things worse for yourself. It's not a solution. It's just exacerbating the problem. But another story for another day. Anyway, so I'm looking at, okay, well then, what's inhibiting my mind creating this world? And in specific that, my message, the way I'm trying to communicate it, not going further and resonating with more people, right? Because it's like, well, I mean, we can why wouldn't people be beating a path to the door of someone offering a solution to not only the world's biggest problem, but the individual's smallest problems and everything in between? And clearly, the answer is that there are conflicting thoughts that are sort of, sapping one another's energy, right? So it's like part of me thinks, well, you know what, people are not really going to value and take seriously what I have to say, or they're not going to experience the value or want to access the value or want to participate in that because, the people just aren't going to get it. And what I'm finding is that, well, I'm engaging people to help me spread this message, further and wider. And at least the people I'm working with seem to believe that there's actual value and benefit. And that to me is like that's a reflection of the fact that I'm accepting more fully that there really is value and benefit in what I'm having to share because I'm seeing that reflected back to me a little bit more than it has been in the past. And, I mean, I would think that my book, transitioning from zero sum to win-win thinking would be flying off the shelves. Well, that's not happening yet, things like that. So, but what is happening is that I'm contacting people to ask them to write, reviews of me, and the reviews are all coming out, 5-star positive. Okay, well, I mean, certainly I'm reaching and impacting some people, and the idea of engaging further with people and wider with people and asking them to review, what I'm offering. That's a step for me, right? And then their positive response, me allowing that positive response in my life is another step for me, or more accurately, it's a confirmation of me taking a greater step towards accepting my own value. And then that greater acceptance of my own value is being reflected back to me by the positive reviews that they're sending in. So that's another step forward. And like everything, like the most efficient way forward is to have a greater acceptance of what's true. And so right now, working with these people that are helping me sort of get my message out is just my willingness to do that at all, right? Is a step because previously, I'd had the thought that, nobody really believes in this and it's all just a pipe dream and nobody really wants to take this on as something. And that is, I've obviously healed that enough to be able to get people to work and support me in getting this message out that we're all one. And as a result of being one, there's a win-win solution to everything. So anyway, that's why I believe I was inspired in my meditation this morning to record this podcast to claim ownership of the fact that I'm gaining greater congruence with the belief that the world is hungry for, at least in total, the majority of the world, we'll say, is hungry for win-win solutions. And that I'm accepting that thought fully enough that I'm seeing it reflected back to me by the outer world more than I have. I mean, there's a lot more to go, but I'm further along than I was. And I think it's, and so it's important for me to acknowledge and recognize the progress I'm making as evidenced by the reflection back from the world, right? And so I feel like, okay, you know what? This is good. I'm making headway, and so it's exciting, and I think it's important to acknowledge the headway we are, right? Because the most efficient way forward is to have a greater acceptance of where we are right now. And where we are right now is that my acceptance of the thoughts in my mind is growing to the point where I can see the positive aspects of those thoughts increasingly being reflected back to me. And that's encouraging. So you know what? I was going to keep doing it anyway, but now I'm going to double my fervor, if you will. So anyway, I mean, it was really cool, So earlier this week, I recorded a podcast where I had a friend of mine tell me about win-win situations that had occurred in his life and how he created them and what the win-win-win things were, and just to orient his thinking, my thinking, and the world's thinking more fully to embracing win-win thinking. And so that was a step. Never did that before. That was another step forward. So, yep, got to acknowledge that progress too. So anyway, that's kind of what I really inspired to share today. And again, like I've been saying, if you have win-win solutions that you would like to share, contact me and we'll do a podcast and we'll share them So because everybody's story is going to motivate other people and it's going to help people relate to it more. And and who doesn't want more win-win? I mean, come on, it's like, yeah, give me all you got. So anyway, you can contact me to do that at scottfriedman40 at gmail.com, ScottFriedman40 at gmail.com, and we'll do that. And all my coaching in general, right? If you say, "Oh, I don't even identify win-win in my life," it's like, trust me, there are things that have worked in your life, and if there are things that have worked in your life, you've participated in win-win, and we can do an online or a private, however you want, coaching session to help you accept the truth of the fact that you already have identified and implemented win-win solutions. But the more that we recognize and take ownership of that, the more capable we are of repeating that uplifting activity of identifying and implementing win-win solutions. So anyway, you can contact me, same email address, and we can do that because when we uplift ourselves, we uplift the world. And anytime that we're building a greater acceptance of our ability to identify and implement win-win solutions, there's no doubt that we are uplifting ourselves and the world. So it's a big deal. My books are available on Amazon. You can find links to them on my website, www.thoughtcoachingbyscott.com. Rock and roll, we're making the world a better place. Be a conscious part of it, and it'll be wonderful. Bye.